I know that my legs have ached a bit.
A lot of walking is only part of Kathy Smith's job as a census taker. She also rings a lot of doorbells when nobody's home. So she leaves a note asking the resident to call the census office to provide the information. And thus far, she's gotten a good response.
About 97% of the people have been very pleasant, very cooperative.
If they'll just spare us 2 to 3 minutes, why, that's all we need, because we just need these few questions answered.
In apartment complexes like this one, census takers have to watch out for winter visitors. Even though they are part-time Arizona residents, most of them are not to be included in the census.
We only count residents who spend at least 6 months and 1 day here. If the snowbirds stay less than that, they are not counted.
But it's not all names and numbers. Pounding the census beat can be anything but dull.
One gentleman came to the door with a towel wrapped around him, but I just kept my eyes on his face and went ahead and asked the questions. That was probably the funniest thing.
And some people think the Census Bureau counts more than just people.
And they'll list the bird or the dog or something, and then you'll come along and say, now, when was he born? And they'll even give you a birth date sometimes, and then all of a sudden in the conversation, well, you'll find out that that's a dog.
More than 100 people packed the Wesley Community Center to hear what city officials had to say and to raise a few questions themselves. Most of those questions centered on the fear of a chemical plant locating next to their homes.
If Monsanto wants to come in or something, a chemical company wishes to come in and produce something that is obviously noxious, a la what we saw happen in India a month or so ago, I do not believe we would recommend that in the master plan at all.
The 625-acre industrial park would stretch from Harrison Street to Interstate 17, from 24th Street west to 14th Street. Already, hundreds of families have been forced to move, and many of those remaining in one of the oldest barrios in Phoenix worry that once the industrial building begins, it won't end until it takes more homes.
The best thing that could come about for us would be the overall consensus that the community wants to remain, that they are very interested in possibly, if there are funding or funds for rehabilitation and stabilization, that they are interested in remaining and doing some neighborhood stabilization and revitalization here.
This is the Phelps Dodge Tower on Central Avenue. 204 Esplanade office towers will be this tall. Plans also call for 2 18-story condominium towers, an 11-story apartment complex, and a 10-story 325-room hotel. In addition, 230,000 square feet of retail space along with 12 movie theaters are included in these plans. The president of the East Camelback Village Coalition says the project is too massive for the neighborhood.
In our background, I think we see some cranes that are sitting over here. Those are only 6 stories high, and they will run the continuous length of this property. Add from that 250-foot buildings coming out of it. Those are the size of buildings that we have on Central Avenue right now. They are completely out of the realm of reasonableness as far as scale for this neighborhood.
According to Young, the increased traffic the project will draw will choke off an already congested area. However, the developer says by widening 24th Street and Camelback Road and putting in left turn signals coupled with a loop around the development, traffic problems should be eased.
We'll be putting in a loop road that runs along the eastern border of our project, down around the southern border and to a light at 24th Street. That's going to be a 5-lane loop road. So with those widenings and road improvements, the traffic situation is going to be significantly enhanced.
The assessor's office is supposed to keep track of the value of all the property in Maricopa County because property values determine property taxes. But the office has fallen behind because of a freeze on the hiring of county employees and because of the boom in construction.
And we're actually in mid-1970 levels of staffing, and we can't handle that type of county growth. We're the fastest growing county in the country, and new construction here is tremendous, and we need to get that tax value on the tax rolls.
This morning, Novcove asked the Board of Supervisors for 34 more employees. Half of them would be appraisers who go out and calculate property values. And hiring more appraisers will, in the long run, make money for the county because more appraisers will be able to put more property on the tax rolls.
I estimated that each appraiser brings in $2,500 of tax revenue per day as he's working in the field.
Even though the new employees would cost the county about $200,000, supervisors were receptive because the current shortage of employees means the county's tax burden is spread unfairly.
One of the main reasons is it will bring the revenues back and in a fair and just manner, because one should not be escape paying taxes while the other has to pay it.
Supervisors agreed to vote on Novecove's request at their next meeting. John Kane, News Center 10.
No, this isn't the Point Resort or the Arizona Biltmore. It is instead the most recent addition to downtown urban sprawl. And it seems as if Renaissance Park is going to make an impact.
Before the 170 units here were completed, in fact, before the models were opened last night, more than 50 residential units at Renaissance Park were spoken for.
There's been a tremendous acceptance by the public from what we've done.
How have the sales been going here?
Very well. We've started 100 residential units and we've sold 52 so far. And last night was our grand opening party, so this is the first weekend that we've actually had completed models to look at.
This, the first downtown residential development in 40 years, has had full support from the city.
We know each other very, very well, and yes, it's very much of a joint project. The city is heavily involved, and the developer is, and we're both delighted with the product.
Located on 9 acres at the corners of 7th and Washington Streets, the project will probably attract business professionals who work downtown.
The project has been designed for the people that work in the downtown area, the young professionals, if you will, and the floor plans and the elevations have been done with that in mind.
With 1/3 of the development sold, both the city and Coventry Homes are already viewing the new scenery downtown with enthusiasm.
This development means a complete turnaround in attitudes about downtown as to the possibility of living down here for the finest type of living you could possibly have in the valley.
Johnny Banks, News Center 10.
The front page of the newspaper becomes a blanket for this transient in Phoenix. He does not have a home or a job, but he chooses to stay here. The low unemployment rate in Phoenix makes the city an attractive place for transients like him. During the summer months, the number of homeless people is usually cut in half in Phoenix, but not this year. Last Thursday night alone, 330 homeless people slept in this park under the stars. To get out of the heat, the homeless line up in record numbers at area shelters. By nightfall, all of these beds will be filled with transients. There just isn't enough room for all of them. The others will have to sleep outside on the ground.
We anticipated that during the summertime we would be dropping well below 300 people in our shelter services, and so obviously when we're still over 500 and some nights 550 people, there's a tremendous strain on our budget.
The heat and high number of transients is causing the homeless to turn up in places they are not normally seen, like public libraries or shopping malls. Many residents are unhappy about that, and the city has been getting complaints.
Should they be offensive or should they be violating the rules? Like anyone else, they will be asked to leave. I don't know how often people go to the shopping malls in this Valley of the Sun, but they are good, cool waiting places for a lot of folks who want to get out of the weather, and transients are no different than anybody else.
We are going to try to do more for the homeless than just give them a place to sleep. We're trying to get them turned around and get them to job opportunities.
It's no more. It's a thing of the past.
Dick Comfort's the old man of the airport. It's a title that he takes kindly to since he's been here longer than most folks can remember, for a good part of the airport's 52 years.
It's the oldest private airport in Maricopa County, I think, in the state. And of course, Ray Fram built it up, and he was a labor of love with him, and you know, he was a dairyman, a farmer here, and then he learned to fly and taught a lot of people to fly off this strip. And I think they're better pilots because of it.
Dick Comfort used to do a lot of the mechanical work on those planes, but now he's not quite sure what he's going to do.
We just maintained aircraft. We fixed them, painted them. I'm going to try and paint a few cars or something like that, although I don't have a real good painting facility, but I got a lot of friends, and they're coming through.
In its heyday, about 30 planes called this place home. They're all gone now, all but one that's had its wings clipped by the passage of time. Pretty soon, the new owners of the land say the old man of the airport will have to move along too.
I'm at that awkward age, you know, I'm too old to get a job and too young to go on, and so they don't have no place for 60-year-olds anymore. Yesterday afternoon, the guys come in here and put on a big party for us. And wife and I really appreciated it. Well, yeah, we've seen a lot of people come and go, and a lot of people that kept their airplanes here, and there's a lot of good friends that still come by, and they'll be back.
It's like a mass exodus. About half of Dobson High's 3,000 students go off campus for lunch. For some nearby restaurants, that means good business. At the local McDonald's, about $600 a day.
Yeah, they're good customers when you keep them in line. We kind of have somebody walking out there all the time checking up on them.
But John Dreyer, who manages a Taco Bell just up the street, says the students scare off the better customers.
They're really messy. They cause, a lot of traffic jams. They're really inconsiderate. And, I've worked a lot of different high school rushes, and these kids are the worst.
Sue didn't want us to use her last name. She says she's scared of the students. When she moved into her house 9 years ago, Dobson High didn't exist. Now that the school's been open 3 years, she says the problems won't go away.
When I'm not home or something, I don't know what they're going to come back and do to us. So you just kind of stay away from it, ignore it, and hope it goes away, but it doesn't.
Her neighbor is moving out.
I'm tired of feeling like I'm in a fortress, that I've got to put everybody, be scared of everybody that's out there.
So the school is threatening to make the campus a closed one. Students would have to eat lunch at the cafeteria and would not be allowed to leave the campus.
So the message to the students is, if you do not want to close campus, then police yourselves, because people don't just hate kids for no other purpose. They don't like kids because they're doing something to their property that they don't like.
Students say the problem is caused only by a few, and to close the entire campus is not the solution.
There's going to be a lot of people getting off campus, sneaking off, doing a lot of things to get off. And I think they're going to wind up with a lot more problems that way.
I mean, everyone's afraid of us kids, but we're not that bad. We're not going to, go and do anything awful. If people just tell us to stop, then it would be no big deal.
Norma Concio, News Center 10.